This is KGW News at 11.
It's really a testament to multiple generations of leadership.
Big changes coming to the Rose Quarter in the Albina neighborhood thanks to federal money. Thanks for joining us tonight at 11. I'm John Adams. Ashley Grahams joins us from the newsroom. And Ashley, there's a whole lot of money on the way for the Rose Quarter Improvement Project.
Right, there is. The federal government has granted the state nearly $500 million for the project, which will essentially reconnect Upper and Lower Albina, a historically black neighborhood. When you drive through Portland on I-5, you're crossing through the Albina neighborhood.
You have I-5, which was dug right here like a trench through all of these homes.
In the 1960s and 70s, I-5 tore through this historically black neighborhood, displacing families and splitting Albina in half.
We don't just want it to be Lower Albina. The dream would be to reconnect Albina through a construction of a highway cover.
Now that dream is a possibility.
Government played an active role in destroying this neighborhood. It makes sense that they would now play an active role in rebuilding and restoring this neighborhood.
The U.S. Department of Transportation has granted the state nearly $500 million for the Rose Quarter Improvement Project, financing the creation of a highway cover.
The highway cover will span effectively from right down around here all the way up to just behind the Motor Center here.
JT Flowers is part of the Albina Vision Trust, a nonprofit focused on redevelopment that would bring back this historic community.
ODOT and other government bureaus are trying to be very intentional about making sure that what they're building here is aligned with this broader development vision that the community has come up with.
Flowers says the highway cover will be about 8 acres, making that section of the interstate into a tunnel and the space on top into developable land.
It would be seismically graded to support development on top of it. You could put parks there, you could put museums there, libraries, anything that your mind could imagine you could build atop the cover.
The money also funds street improvements to Broadway, making the area more walkable and accessible for future residents.
This is a multi-generational battle for belonging and placemaking in the heart of our central city.
Well, at this point, ODOT is focused on the highway cover over I-5, and PBOT will be redesigning North Broadway. We haven't seen a timeline yet for these projects. John?
All right, Ashley, thank you. Well, turning now to weather. After a few nice days to end the work week, the rain has returned, and so have some high winds here in the area. Joe Ranieri joining us now. What's our Sunday looking like? These conditions going to continue?
Yeah, the best way to describe your Sunday is going to be pretty stormy. We're already seeing some of those high winds that we're telling you about at the 5 o'clock when they would be arriving. Well, late tonight and into tomorrow. Here we are late tonight, a little after 11 o'clock. We're starting to see some very windy conditions up and down the I-5 corridor and along the Oregon coast. North Bend, you're looking at gusts right now about 36 miles an hour. We'll go into tomorrow. We're going to be seeing those gusts anywhere from 30 to 40 miles an hour in the metro area. It could even be as high as about 50 miles an hour along the Oregon coastline. Don't be surprised if there's widespread power outages throughout parts of the valley as well as the Oregon coastline here heading into the next 12 to 18 hours or so. Going into tomorrow afternoon, it's still very windy, and we'll start to see the winds kind of back off a little bit heading into late tomorrow night, but another round of wind will be moving through heading into really the next couple of days. Pretty blustery over the next few days, thanks in part to this low pressure system out there in the Pacific. It has a very tight gradient, and that just means those lines of equal pressure, the isobars, are very tight together, and that's why we're starting to see the winds really pick up. And we have some watches and warnings because of the winds, especially along the Oregon coast. High wind warning is in effect until early tomorrow morning, about 5 o'clock, but there's a good chance that could get extended. This white color throughout the mountains is a winter weather advisory that's in effect through the mountains with about 4,000 feet and higher. Tomorrow, not only are we going to be tracking some windy conditions, there's also a threat of some thunderstorm activity. Rainfall amounts could be pretty impressive as well. Daytime highs tomorrow will be right around the upper 40s to the low 50s. It's going to be stormy for your Sunday, but things are going to be looking pretty nice heading into tomorrow. And of course, I'll talk about this again in my detailed forecast, but daylight saving begins here in just hours. We lose an hour of sleep, but sunset tomorrow just after 7. I'll talk more about that in a few minutes.
All right, Joe, we're definitely looking forward to it. Well, an industrial accident in Camas, Washington leaves one man dead. Police and fire crews were called to the Georgia Pacific mill at around 5 yesterday evening. They found a 32-year-old worker dead in the mill. They say the accident involved heavy machinery. Well, friends and family gathered at the Portland Institute of Contemporary Art earlier this evening to hold a vigil for Emmanuel Clark Johnson. Back in 2022, he was unarmed and running away from police when he was shot in the back with an AR-15. A lawsuit against the city of Portland and the officer who fired the shot claims Clark Johnson was, quote, wrongly and unreasonably believed to be an attempted armed robbery suspect. His parents tell us they're angry with the city and the police bureau's response, especially surrounding the officer.
He still has his job and
Right,
he's getting
no,
paid
he
still.
should be gone.
And he's going home to his family every night, but we don't get that same
Right, we
opportunity.
can't get to see Emmanuel anymore.
A grand jury did not find the officer's use of force criminal under Oregon law. Regardless of the lawsuit, Clark Johnson's family is calling for training at all levels in the police bureau so this doesn't happen again. Portland police say a man was on methamphetamine when he hit another person with his car. A witness saw it happen just after 6 last night at Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard and Deacom. Police say the driver, 61-year-old Donald Motley, left the scene. Officers tracked him to his home and arrested him there. The person who was hit is in the hospital recovering from her injuries. And we're still trying to learn more about a fire this morning at an auto shop. You can see by this witness video just how large the fire became. Portland Fire and Rescue says crews went to Bob's Auto Sales just after 8. That's off of Southeast 82nd and Ramona. The witness we spoke to says it didn't take long for the fire to spread.
And then it went from a little bit of smoke to just engulfed within, I would say, 2 minutes. It was engulfed in flames.
It took firefighters about 15 minutes to put out the fire. No one was hurt. Well, measles cases are up across the country, now touching 17 states here in the U.S. That includes an outbreak in Southwest Washington earlier this year. While 45 cases is still low, health leaders say the country saw 58 total cases in all of 2023. 8 of the newer cases were reported in Clark and Waukegan counties in Washington in January. One pediatrician says cases are appearing as vaccination rates fall. 1 in 5 children who get measles will end up in the hospital.
It's mainly concerning just because of how infectious it is if you haven't been vaccinated against it.
Measles has distinct symptoms that usually appear within the first few days of infection. If you notice white spots in you or your child's mouth, followed by a skin rash, get in touch with your doctor. Well, an overpass in Vancouver is closed for the weekend, but when it opens up again Monday, officials say it will be better than ever. Crews closed the Lizer Road overpass above State Route 14 on Friday. The closure will let crews repair the bridge support structure. It was damaged by an oversized truck back in 2022. When the project is fully finished, they will reopen the shoulder lane, ending restrictions for those who walk, bike, or use mobility devices.